Okay, so firstly, I'm going to be talking about some things that some of you may have heard me talk about with one-to-one sessions or in the live room. There's a lot I've sort of held back on myself over the last couple of years, purely because this idea of, okay, well, it may not be well received, or people might think, okay, what a weirdo. I am weird, and I'm happy to be different and unique. I prefer to be that rather than the same as everybody else, or the majority, should we say. So I actually love being unique and different. And I think everybody here should become like that. So I often say be the minority, not the majority. The majority are asleep. The majority are not even looking at techniques like this and figuring out how they actually really function. As I said in yesterday's webinar, if anybody missed it, the recording is now up on YouTube, and I've tweeted it out on Twitter. But I did a little webinar for Top Step Trader yesterday, which actually is sort of connected to what I'm talking about today. Okay, but you'll always have some dick saying something like, I think someone just threw, oh, we have a preacher in the house. You're always going to have this stuff where it's not well received by some. But I say, look, the majority, if it's well received and it resonates, you're doing a good job. And most importantly, for me, it's about having experience and lived this. So I only talk from not knowledge, okay, because knowledge is like, I think knowledge is gained from reading sources like books and things. Most people just regurgitate what they've learned and pretend that they know it. It's not the same thing. So real true wisdom comes from experience and actually being in a place where you've lived what you've learned and actually practiced it and then gained the wisdom. There's a massive difference. Everything that I do and teach is down to real practice and experience and wisdom. So, and I would really suggest that everybody takes on that same kind of mindset. I think some do have it more naturally than others. But everyone, I believe, can develop that once you start to really get to your core, okay? Not just a surface layer. So you are who you think you are, okay? Well, at least the limited mental construct of what you've created and been molded to believe. So what I mean here is that all of you here have been labeled with a name, your image. In your mind, you know what you look like. People know what you look like. If you think about other people in your life, you know what they look like. You have a mental image of them, okay? You have a mental construct, okay? So you built this belief, this opinion of people, things, etc. But there is also a belief about yourself. You have an image, a self-image of yourself, okay? Now, this self-image pretty much guides the way for everything that you do. And more importantly, it's the self-image that actually gets in the way of success and getting over your obstacles and starting to sort of be okay with like losers and losing trades, etc. It's your self-image. Some people refer to it as the ego. The self-image is the ego. Okay, the ego, self-image, same thing. Now, self-image, however, we do need to keep it. Okay, so I'm not going to say you need to get rid of a self-image or the ego, etc. I say, look, you need to have a self-image, but make it a better version of you. Make your image of yourself a better version of you. So this image now is not the defeated you or the one that's struggling you. It's now a more positive, confident you. So this image needs to be utilized as a tool rather than just creating a self-image based upon experiences and outcomes. Because most of us build our self-image based upon what we think people think when we don't even know what they think. Okay. Think about that. Okay, but people do this. They think, oh, well, everybody thinks I'm like this, so this is what I'm going to become. Okay, so this is what I'm going to narrow, limit myself to be as well. So that is, I see a lot of people, this is not just traders, human beings in general, have this way of living life. They are their mental construct. They are not only a mental construct of what they began to believe, but also what they think other people think when they don't even really know what they think. So this image is, firstly, it's a part of you, it's not you. So that's the first underlying concept that everybody has to accept. Okay, your self-image that you have created and started to believe in, that is like an image of yourself. So I asked yourself, what image do you hold about yourself right now? What image do you hold of yourself? How do you perceive yourself? Okay, and you can actually do an exercise where you just write things down. What is it I first time I did this, okay? Now nobody taught me how to do this. I'm teaching you again purely from common sense. I thought, okay, this is a good idea. I wrote it down. Well, I'm this guy, Kam Dhadwar. Why? Because I was given this name, this label. But that's just like somebody sticking a label on a can of Coke, saying it's Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. Same thing, just given a label. That label is not you. So now that's a label. Now we have with that label an image. This is what I look like, but then we change the way we look as well. We're not the same. We don't look the same as when we was 1 year old, 5 years old, to 10 years old, to 30 years old, or 50 years old. Now we've even changed visually, physically, massively, but yet self-image, there's a lot of the time for most people not even changing. It's the same as it was when they developed their limiting beliefs when they were 25. Now they're 50 and still believe the limited perspective. So have a little think about this, okay? So this is like the belief about yourself. This is your self-image. You are creating your self-image. So most people don't go within, and this is where it starts, because a lot of what we're going to do is changing your self-image, the inside-out approach. We're going to change or make your self-image something that serves you. It's in alignment with your goals and objectives and not against it. So your external world typically is going to be a reflection of your internal world. I don't care if you don't believe that. You're going to have to live it firstly, okay? So your external world is a reflection of your internal world, not completely, okay? Meaning that there's a lot going on outside of your control. You know, you can't control the weather, you can't control the days and the nights, you can't control other people in this world, you can't control the seasons and things. You know, there's something else. There's a greater power at play, yes, but we are a part of that. So the external world, when I say it's a reflection of your inner world, I don't mean like it's like instant. What I'm saying here is that typically over time, think of your seeded thoughts, your mental constructs, your self-image as like a seed. Okay, and I will refer to a bamboo tree analogy later, which most of you guys already heard. But basically, it's like planting a seed for a plant or tree. It doesn't grow straight away, but the seed's planted. So that's sort of like what we do with our self-image. We can create an image now for like 2 years from now, but we have to visualize that